newspaper. I was reading in the newspaper, someone said, Liberia people will get a job, we have one-term president. But on this birthday, I want to say to them, that during election times, after elections, God will make sure that that mouth will be closed. I will defeat them more than 2018. You know, I don't know, because the telling and friends say, I'm not telling them happy birthday. But sometimes, they don't forget about politics. You don't need to tell somebody to tell them happy birthday. Call me and say happy birthday. That is my day. So I am well out today my birthday. GMW. Great Man Walking. Great Man Walking.
It is a two-faced issue. This is
in 2016, on the same day, I was in my office when all my friends came to me, about 19, came to me to say happy birthday. I didn't know their plan. And they came to me right after we ate. All 20 of them walked outside. They declared against me. Like they are not supporting me. And when the honorable Blair came in my office, he started to cry. He said, I can't believe you let people treat you like this. The way you treat people, they can't treat you good. Why everybody went against you? And I told him the day, I said, is that why you crying? But I can guarantee you, I will beat those people just like a little baby. When they hear the election result, they will always feel that God got me. And the 20% they were defeated. I'm saying it again, I heard in the newspaper, I was reading in the newspaper, someone said, Liberia people will get a job, we have one-term president. But on this birthday, I want to say to them, that during election times, after elections, God will make sure that that mouth will be closed. I will defeat them more than 2018.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, however you are listening to the conversation. My name is Kai, and you are in tune to Freedom Hub on 87.9, the official voice of Freedom Communications Incorporated. Too many issues happening in the country, a lot of issues going on in different places. Whatever it is, no matter the situation you're confronted with, whether it is that family problem, whether it is that financial issue, whether it is something that has to do with your health, once you still got life, once you're still alive and breathing, it is important that you acknowledge the fact that God has given you some reason to be alive. Too many things happening in the country, and of course there is a lot more going on with the city governance relative to the city of Monrovia. Ahead of the bicentennial program in country, Mayor Jefferson Koji was able to constitute a team of stakeholders in an effort to address the issue of sanitation, especially with Liberia's capital. Mayor Bro, the individual at the center of all of these discussions, has threatened to close all of the homes in Monrovia and parts of Liberia without latrine. Let me get it clear. General Mirabro has threatened to close all of the houses in this country without toilet facilities. What is it? What do we make of that issue? Join the conversation as we intend to rumble through the proposal. So I'm thinking about people in Soniwe. I'm concerned about a lot of people in Claratown, the slum community, those in Jalatown, Old Road, too many of the areas where you have a lot of homes, a lot of structures without bathroom facilities. What is going to be done? This is a national conversation. We're going to be looking into that as well. Liberia's finance minister Samuel Tuer got some level of praises from his predecessor, Honorable Buema Kamara. When Kamara appeared on Spoon Talk recently to give some form of appraisal of the WIA's administration relative to the increment in the budget, the proposed budget, from somewhere around 539, 560, $600 million, up to $785 has been projected in the upcoming budget. So we're going to be looking at his statements. We're going to be making too many of the analysis around it. There are folks who weeks ago, if not months ago, were calling on the president of Liberia, His Excellency Dr. Weah, and they were concerned. Every one of them will always say, fire Tuer, fire this other person, fire that other person. But in the end, at about this moment, we start to have some order as per opinion relative to the successes of too many of the austerity measures that were instituted by the WIA's administration under the fiscal administration of Samuel D. Tuer. We have a lot more about that discussion during the course of today's edition here on 87.9. The biggest of all the biggest news in town is the fact that Mirabro has threatened to close all of the houses without toilets. I know you are in that taxi. I know you are riding home. I know you are probably seated in that NTA bus, or better still, you are on one of these Killer Bean buses and you are concerned. Your landlord and landladies got the house built, no toilet and no bathroom facility. The issue of sanitation is a mess. All of these issues will be discussed right here on the People Station. Too many things. Joe Human Baka is expected to celebrate his birthday in Bassa That's Grand Bassa County. The funny thing about it, and my man Austin reminded me, the people designed Joe Bwaka birthday flyer. They refused to put an age. What is that? I told when you're celebrating, a birthday of such nature, people will say we are at 55, Buhari at 86, this other one at this one. But Joe Bwaka's own birthday, flyer was printed without the man age being mentioned. What did we say? Bwaka at 39? Bwaka at 20? Do we say Bwaka at 76? Why are they hiding his age when we can easily Google his age on the internet and put it out? We have a lot of the conversation today on this medium. But just so you know, my own, co-host, my own deputy, Princess Alexa Vanta Colley, is out of country, and of course, she's out for a very short reason. She's out of town. Princess is not in Liberia. She's going to return very shortly. She's on a tour somewhere in the region, and we pray that she's going to be having a safe trip outside of Liberia. We take a few bars of our team song. By the time we return here on 87.9, like I told you from the onset, we're going to be having a wonderful a wonderful discussion here. Somebody just said JMB will be turning 25 years old. Oh, what a fun. We take a few bars of our team song then. When we return, we make some technical adjustment on the board, and subsequently we bring you the BCast thing to happen on radio at about now in the nation's capital. Okay, so welcome back to the program Freedom Hub on 87.9, the official voice of Freedom Communications Incorporated. This is the institution that is really, really tall. We got our wings all across the country. This is where we cause political stampede. This is the gravity of political discussions in the country. Here, we don't mix our words. When we support you on this platform, we do it with all our might. When we support you here, we don't scheme. People don't see us as schemers. At this radio, on this platform, when we say we support your agenda, once we say we have issues with the way you're proceeding, whether you kill yourself, whether you die, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. And that's why we're not bothered. Yeah, we're not concerned as to what you bring us. A regime station is up to your definition of what a regime station is. Because of the fact of the fact of the matter is that we are on record of criticizing a lot of folks in authority. And the most recent has to do with the Minister of Public Works. And thankfully, let me say this, and this is where we're going to be very clear about the issue, right? We came on this radio a couple of weeks ago, Austin and I, And there were times we had to beat down on the Minister of Public Works. We made you to understand that she was a little bit sleeping, and we were right, because at the moment we witnessed a lot of slow, better still slowness, or lack of proactiveness in her job. And so it was important that in the interest of the Liberian people, we bring to your attention some of the things we noticed with the Ministry of Public Works. Thankfully, today, as a country, we are witnessing some form of progress as it relates to the efforts of the Ministry of Public Works. Let me be clear to note that the Johnsonville Road I was talking about recently, the work has resumed on the road. It's a wonderful thing. Thanks to the Ministry of Public Works for bouncing on the contractors to redo that road. To do the completion of the road. The Patience Shop Simaka to Gardnersville Road, to the Bannerville Road. That portion of the road has some serious problems. There were potholes developing. It is my understanding that the contractor that was given the contract to do that piece of road between Simaka Junction in Gardnersville to the Patience Shop Junction on the Barnesville Road, that contractor was able to go back to the area, and they were able to extract the portion of the road that started to develop problems. So wherever there was a pothole, they were able to cut in the ditches to have it removed. They put in the crosswalks, they're modernly, and we are told in a matter of days, they're going to have real asphalt pavement. They're going to put the quota in the places that were damaging. So that's another wonderful news. Bourgeois Island is equally taking some form of shape around the LPRC, where we used to witness a lot of slowness in the traffic. That has come to an appreciable level. A little over 80% of that job was done. We're still hopeful that between the Freeport of Monrovia, to the Jamaica Road intersection and up to the Sion Town area will be touched. That's what we anticipate. That stretch of road is still terrible, but we're still wishing that Madam Collins will do everything in her power to get that project done. Our job here is to speak to the issues when they are not proceeding in the right direction. And that's who we are. You can brand us whatever name you want to brand us, is up to you. Because we don't just come to this entity and deal with people who do not mean well for the country. We equally deal with people who are in authority and refuse to do what is needed for the progress of our country. That's who we are. So we have friends in government, we have enemies in government, we have friends in the opposition, we too got enemies in the opposition, but all is because we desire and we anticipate a better Liberia. So that's what it is. So let me say thanks to the Ministry of Public Works. They've been doing a lot of good job, and so we're looking up to them. We hope other entities that have been sleeping will follow suit so that things will happen. Now, the next thing we witnessed over the period is the gradual lighting up of the Japanese freeway. So when the Japanese people got to doing the road between Freeport to Red Light, they erected a lot of street lights on that road. But when the road was dedicated, all of the lights were turned off. So what we are witnessing is that approaching or going towards each of the major intersections, we have the portion of the lights there somewhere around 80 to 85%. Those lights are being turned on. I'm talking about between Freeport to Jamaica Road. You have a little over 80% of the lights along that corridor has been turned on. We hope the LEC and Ministry of Public Works will do all of their other technical job to ensure that we have 100% visibility at night on that stretch of road. So from Chocolate City intersection going towards New Georgia, that portion is equally lighted up with the street, the traffic light also erected. So that's another wonderful thing. So for those of you on the Japanese freeway, the traffic light is now on. So if you're driving and you used to just keep driving with the police manual direction of the traffic light, this should inform you that it is no longer the case. You will need to start looking up for the traffic light so that you don't violate the traffic rules. So those are issues we're going to be talking about, and it is worth commending. That's why we want to say thanks to the Ministry of Public Works, but we are not happy that these very roads should be done. There is a lot of difficulties. People encounter leaving Cardwell to go to Deesville. That portion of the road is terrible. It is my understanding that this dry season, something is going to be done, and we hope you're going to make some quick intervention, or better still, we have a lasting solution to that problem, which is to have the entire piece of road, paved. So that's a wonderful thing, and we also want to stress that. So with that said, let's run over to what is obtaining, especially in the financial space of our country. Mind you, the main core issue on the ground today is a decision by Mary Brown, who is in charge of this special committee that's supposed to make Monrovia beautiful and the entire country beautiful. Madam Brown has threatened to close every single house in this country without a toilet facility. Once your house is now with a toilet facility, Mary Brown has threatened to shut it down. How is that going to be possible? We'll look into that discussion, all by the way. But initially, let's run into the Ministry of Finance and the economy of Liberia by extension. And so that has to do with the fiscal and monetary space of our country. So the Ministry of Finance, the Central Bank of Liberia, the Liberian Revenue Authority, are all institutions we will be looking at as we will be going towards as we'll be dealing with the discussion. So I'm trying to get this clip. Let me try to get this clip. Yes. So, Minister, we're going to look at the IMF report on Liberia as well. So as to give you a fair appreciation of what's happening. Former Minister Boyman Kamara served the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration as the last finance minister prior to the CDC's administration. Minister Boyman Kamara was given the chance to appear on our sisterly program, Hub. Come on, I love my own show too much. Spoon Talk. And to the dismay, or better still, to the surprise of the panelists on that platform, most of whom are people who are very tough on government and government policy makers. Mr. Kamara, they didn't play to their tune. And let me repeat. One of the panelists on the Spoon Talk, for example, former Liberty Party Chairman Ben Senvi, a staunch opposition of the CDC government, wanted to have heard the worst things coming out of the mouth of former Minister Boyman Kamara. But that was not the case. That was certainly not the case. Mr. Kamara, the former finance minister, was able to give a clear analysis as to the performance of the WES administration, especially the fiscal team at the Ministry of Finance, and this issue of the budget, pushing the budget up to $785 million. He made a lot of salient points. There were too many things he talked about during that interview, and I was able to, put it together. I was able to do a clear, cut of that long interview, and I have the summary of what he said. Now, after playing this, it is going to take us to, the IMF report. For those of you who do not understand what the IMF report is, it is the fund's own way of evaluating a particular country under their program as to performance. So the IMF is going to tell you more about what progress has been made in the fiscal space of our country, what austerity measures were put into place, what were some of the safety financial practices the government instituted to have, led us, the country, to a point of recording some form of macroeconomic stability. So these are issues contained in the IMF report. They're going to be telling you about where the country came from, how bad it was, what progress has been made, and so forth. But before we do that, I want you to listen to Minister what is his name? Boama Kamara, the former finance minister of Liberia. I remember he's equally on record of buying a vehicle. He bought a vehicle for $70,000. I'm told he left that vehicle at the ministry, but that shouldn't have been the case. I'm just reminding you of who he was when he was in authority. So when you listen to it, the guys at Spoon Talk, not all of them, but bulk of them who are really critical of the administration got a serious shock. Yeah, they were very shocked to have had a situation where Boama Kamara, didn't play to their tune or they didn't live up to their expectation, because they thought he would have criticized and condemned the finance minister's decision, to have had too many austerity measures instituted somewhere around 2019 and 2020. So I want you to listen to Minister Kamara.
Thanks, Dr. Francia.
Yes.
I call you my sister. To begin with, I would just I will put in context this proposed budget. This is the first.
Are you into Yatta, son?
Yes, my Yatta.
Okay, we are related, but go ahead.
Well, thank you. The context in which this budget was presented comes against the backdrop. Firstly, we want to acknowledge the work that went into this budget. This is the first in several decades to reach a point where our fiscal budget is aligned with the West African Regional Economic Zone. I remember my days at the Central Bank. When we attend Convergence Council meeting, the issue about Liberia standing out in terms of its uniqueness was always the case. One, in the area of our fiscal misalignment with the rest of the regional bloc. Liberia ran a fiscal calendar that ran from July to June, which did not align with the rest of the regional countries that ran calendar fiscal year from January to December. So I just want to begin by saying a big thank you to President George Weah, his administration, and I believe the oversight that he has provided and the work that Minister Tua has done and the folks at the ministry. I want to say kudos to you.
Now, let me say this to you. Let me try to paraphrase exactly what former Minister Kamara was saying, right? So the first thing he acknowledged was the fact that before, for a very long time, Liberia has been the only country in the region that would do her budget from July to June. We were not in line with the rest of the countries around us. And by the way, both of the countries around us have their budget, period running from January to December, or calendar year budget. Ours, before the current proposal has been done by Minister Tua, used to run from July to June. So Boama Kamara, as an objective politician or an objective financial expert, decided to point out this identical milestone achievement by the Weah's administration. And the reason why he thought to do that is because, look, we are into this global connection. Regionally, we are all into the same thing. I mean, we're part of the Mano River Union, we're part of ECOWAS, we're part of AU, and the United Nations from the global perspective, right? So it was not a decent thing that all of the countries would tailor their annual expenditure or their governmental allotments running from January to December, while our own budget used to run from July to June. So he first acknowledged the fact that this is something he and his colleagues, when they were serving at the Ministry of Finance under the early administration, used to fight hard to do. But unfortunately, they were unable to do it. And so because it was achieved by President Weah under the fiscal administration of Samba Tua, in his opinion, it was a decent thing to note, it was a decent thing to acknowledge, and he had to give it up to President Weah for oversight. Listen to him.
The issue about Liberia standing out in terms of its uniqueness was always the case. One, in the area of our fiscal misalignment with the rest of the regional bloc. Liberia ran a fiscal calendar that ran from July to June, which did not align with the rest of the regional countries that ran calendar fiscal year from January to December. So I just want to begin by saying a big thank you to President George Weah, his administration, and I believe the oversight that he has provided and the work that Minister Twere has done and the folks at the ministry. I want to say kudos to you because this was a feat that we went back and forth on, and today Liberia now aligns with the rest of the 15 ECOWAS member countries. And I will also hasten to say my recommendation of an article written regarding the fiscal uniqueness of Liberia a year ago. My brother and I had a little issue, but that's behind us. But the recommendation for which I call for an alignment of this type of fiscal alignment has been realized. And I just want to say thanks to the leadership of Minister Twere and the folks at the MFDP. I love you, they are my family, okay? That's something I started, and I think I should start by that. And also, I want to recognize the timeliness in the posting of this proposed budget. I see it as a continuing of the tradition of timely reporting of the proposed national budget. Friday, they presented this to the legislature. Saturday, it was posted on the website of the MFDP. Real-time provision of information to the public counts, and I want to acknowledge that. The third thing I want to say, setting aside, if you go into this budget, we want to recognize that this administration, under the leadership of President Weah, through his principal, that is the Minister of Finance, Minister Twere, setting aside some payments in terms of retiree of civil servants. The next thing I want to point out is 0.1% of funding of PSRP envelope to be used for monitoring and evaluation of all governance programs. That's something I want to commend. And then third, the last would be, I just want to say that the fiscal rule that has been adopted, if you look into the budget, the fiscal policies that will occasion expenditure has outlined that foreign travel, which is one of the sources of high rise in the expenditure when it comes to budget, they have limited it to no more than 3 persons. When I took over in 2016, that was something that confronted me. When you sit in the seat of the Minister of Finance as the minister, when the resource envelope is such that it's so tight, the fiscal space is tight, what do you do in the face of competing budgetary expenditure?
Okay. So you listen to Minister, former Minister Boerman Kamara. So let me just summarize out of what he said. So the minister, in his intro when he appeared on Spoon Talk, was able to acknowledge several of the missteps, the previous administration used to, keep moving on. And at the same time, acknowledging the progress being made by the administration. So in this case, according to him, the new budget Minister Twere and the Ministry of Finance people prepared is in such a way that there is some level of restriction on the number of people that are supposed to be traveling from a ministry or agency, for a particular trip. Before this thing could be done by the minister and this government, sometimes at the Ministry of Finance or the Ministry of Health or the Ministry of this one, you will notice that, 2-3 ministers, one director, sometimes you find 8 different human beings from one ministry on a foreign travel. Sometimes you find one entity, 5, 6, 7, 10 persons from the same entity running out of the country. They said they're going for one conference. In the wisdom of Minister Buema Kamara, this is a very sound decision that was taken by Minister Twe and the financial people at the Ministry of Finance to ensure that not more than 3 individuals will leave a particular entity for an outside travel. Because you know why? Bulk of the monies, government always spent our funds emanating, or better still, our funds used on foreign travels. So when you got 8 persons traveling out of the country, all 8 of them will need to get their hotels. All 8 of them will need to have their DSA. That's the allowance that they normally have when they go out of the country. All 8 of them will have their incidental allowance. There are too many things that attached to them, and those were the places government used to spend most of their money instead of building schools, instead of building hospitals, instead of investing in the infrastructural sector of our country. Minister Twe, in the preparation of this budget that is in the tune of $785 million, made it clear that this is going to be a new fiscal rule. That any issue that has to do with expenditure, specifically on foreign travel, not more than 3 persons will leave a particular ministry, because sometimes the 4th guy or the 5th guy is just there to take pictures. Sometimes the 6th guy is just there to go take picture. You see beautiful women, in a place, he drink champagne, take their own DSA, and just be doing women business in London, in France, in all of the different places. Sometimes they're just useless on the trip. No, let me be honest now. Sometimes you wouldn't have, apparently just 3 individuals who will leave a particular ministry that will be useful on the trip. The rest of the guys go there to eat chicken, they attend funny workshop, they sit behind tables with Liberia on it when they did not even make one single speech at that occasion. Oh, no, you didn't get what I say, right? Before Minister Twe could do this thing, before the WIAS administration could change this policy as being proposed in the current proposed budget we have, people from different ministry and agency used to take themselves. We're from Ministry of Internal Affairs, we're going for one conference in Abuja, Nigeria. The Deputy Minister going, the Deputy Minister for Administration going, the Deputy Minister for all the way going. Director won't go, the other. So sometimes you find out 10 different human beings from one single ministry decide to go to Nigeria. When you go look at it, that only the minister proper, maybe Deputy Minister or somebody else is useful on that trip. The rest of the guys, they on selfie, they drinking, wine, eating chicken, running after girls and women in the other country, the women who are women, they're chasing some white men. Basically, they're doing nothing. So in the wisdom of Minister Twe, we should start spending too much money on people traveling out of the country so that we can save money to pave the roads, we save money to build hospitals, we save money to put the lights on and do other stuff in the educational sector. Buema Kamara acknowledged that. He made it clear. He said that is one of the best approaches. That is one of the best decisions being made by the WIAS administration. Not because he is the last minister of the Unity Party, but he was very objective. Not many politicians will do. And that's what we are asking people in the Unity Party to emulate, how you call their last finance minister. The man who paid them their last salary before they could run into brokenness. Let me repeat. The man who paid them their last salary as minister before they could turn broke. They should start to imitate or follow his good examples. He didn't say because I'm not from the CDC, so I'm not going to acknowledge some decent fiscal measures being put into play by the administration. No. In fact, he was fast enough to recognize the tremendous efforts being made and the steps being taken by the Ministry of Finance and the government in extension to ensure that our budget is not only going to be increased to $785 million, but unnecessary spending will be reduced. That's laudable. Those are the kinds of opposition leaders we need. People who will criticize, people who will be objective in their criticism. Not about people who will be vexed and angry only because they're no longer in the position. He would have said, I'm no longer finance minister. I'm going to bomb off this whole thing. I'm going to find any weakness on it. I'm going to just criticize it. I would say all of the nasty things about it. He did not do so. Buema Kamara made it his duty to acknowledge the progress being made. He made it his duty to ensure that something, some way, somehow, and some form of commendation will be given to the team. And that was what he did. That is nationalistic. When you do that, you are a Liberian. You are a true son of the soil. But to allow political differences to blind your eyes to the reality, it is not a decent thing. What Buama Camara demonstrated is clear, constructive criticism. That is what we need. If you are an expert in a particular area outside of the country, whether you are in the country, once there are challenges in the sector, be bold enough to talk about it from an objective perspective. And when you also notice that there are progress being made in a particular sector as well, you too should do the honorable thing to acknowledge. That is when people will have a fair appreciation of what's going on in the country. Inflation has reduced from double digit to a single digit. The US rate has dropped. Initially, we were complaining the rate drop, prices not dropping with a rate. When the rate dropped, initially gasoline was $640 in this country. At the moment, gasoline can be bought for $580, $570 to some, at some places $565 for a gallon of gasoline. This is good news. Gradually, the rate is becoming stable. So before, white people used to be telling you the rate is 130, 132, 130 days. By now, everybody is aware that the rate is now between 140 to 144. To a greater extent, there is some form of macroeconomic stability, and it will only have to take a lot of, a fiscal policy, a lot of fiscal disciplinary, policy to get us to where we want to go to. But as an expert in the fiscal sector of our country, Buama Camara demonstrated the highest level of patriotism when he was able to do a fair analysis, a fair appreciation of the government decision to have a budget in the tune of $785 million. Listen to him.
Thanks, Dr. Francia. See, setting aside, if you go into this budget, we want to recognize that this administration, under the leadership of President Weah, through his principal, that is the Minister of Finance, Minister Tue, setting aside some payments in terms of retiree of civil servants. The next thing I want to point out is 0.1% of funding of PSIP envelope to be used for monitoring and evaluation of all government's programs. That's something I want to commend. And then third, the last would be, I just want to say that the fiscal rule that has been adopted, if you look into the budget, the fiscal policies and occasion expenditure has outlined that foreign travel, which is one of the sources of high rise in the expenditure when it comes to budget, they have limited it to no more than 3 persons.
So you listen? Mr. Camara made it clear that one of the things that caught his attention, one of the notable things in the proposed budget is the fact that they've limited the number of people who will travel out of the country at a particular time from a particular entity to no more than 3 individuals. And the reason is just simple, to save more money. When 8-man leader Ofe Moria, in our Liberian English, right? And we call our capital city Moria. Yeah, for the standard people, it's Monrovia. So if 8 individuals leave their comfort zone in Monrovia to go outside of this country, we are buying 8 plane tickets, go and come. We are renting 8 hotel rooms. You check us in our hotel rooms, they're not going to do no research. Yeah, they're not researching anything. They're not going to have real conference calls. It's not going to be Patari affairs, King Juice Festival, or whatever country they're in. It's going to be alcoholic festival and chicken eating affairs. That's what they're going to be doing. So in the wisdom of Tue and the guys at Finance Ministry, they're saying no more than 3. So Buama Camara acknowledged that. Yeah, he acknowledged it. And in his opinion, that is another way to meet up with the proposed, amount. And by the way, the reason why this thing is a conversation is because a lot of people are claiming, especially people in the opposition community, They are thinking that this issue of Summer Tour in the Ministry of Finance taking our budget or our national envelope to 785 million is a hoax. In their minds, it is unrealistic. It is not achievable. It is not. So, as a way of discrediting the government of Liberia under WIA, they've started to argue that it is not possible for Liberia to raise, money that would be up to $785 million to support what is proposed. So Brahma Kamara, as an expert, without a CDC backing, without a CDC alignment, was able to identify some of the places that will receive cuts. So if Ministry of Justice supposed to be making, 10 trips every budget year, and each of the trips they will have perhaps 4, 5, 6, 7 persons going. Once you reduce that to 3 persons, it means you have saved half of what used to go just for traveling, eating chicken, drinking liquor, smoking cigar, and all the kind of stuff out of the country. That's what you saved already. That's the amount you've already saved. So when you put the other amounts you've already saved and you expand that into other areas of expenditure, obviously you're going to meet up with your goal in reaching that 785 million. When you propose 785 million, it's in 2 folds. You have the expenditure component and the revenue generating component. So not all of the times you will need the raw cash inflow as the only means to boost revenue. Sometimes some of the cuts you do in expenditure can equally amount to additional revenues. It may sound odd to you. It may be economically not stable and sound, but obviously that's what it is. So like the financial people always say, if you want to do it in the man-water analysis, if you got 500 LD as your budget, all right, and you manage to have the 500 LD, let's say, for example, you used to spend 200 on liquor. You spend $100 on transportation, you spend 200 on food. The mere fact that you will choose that day, you say, you know what? Instead of spending 200 on the liquor, I only spend $100 on liquor. What you've done, you've already saved extra $100. That's supposed to go behind King Juice. You already save it. So indirectly, what you've done, you've increased revenue because before you used to be allotting 200 for King Juice. But the day you decided to say, look, I'm not going to allot 200 any longer. I'm going to take $100 for King Juice. It was that day automatically you've also added additional $100 to your revenue. So those austerity measures alone, those cuts in expenditure also indirectly constitute revenue all by itself. Because you're not going to be spending the money again. So the places the money used to go to, you already cut it, and you will have the chance to reallocate those funds to another areas of importance as a country. So that's some of the points we thought to push across. Let's see what the IMF had to say about our country. Let's try to get it. What has the IMF said about Liberia? Oh God, let me see what we can do. Okay, so let's see what IMF had to say about the Republic of Liberia as it relates to this issue of the IMF program that we are into as a country. So there is it. The executive board of the International Monetary Fund completes the 10th review under the extended credit facility for Liberia and approves US $23.64 million disbursement. Yeah. So it says the completion of the 10th review under the extended credit facility enables an immediate disbursement of $23.64 million. So our country, Liberia, has received $23.64 million. That's about $23,640,000. And there are reasons for that. Number one, restoring macroeconomic stability to lay the foundation for sustainable, inclusive growth and addressing weakness in governance remains the main program objectives. Number two, economic activity is projected to expand by 3.6% in 2021. thereby restoring pre-pandemic levels, with the prospect for solid medium-term growth provided the reform program remains on track. So in as much as Liberia will continue to follow some of the tips from the IMF, in as much as the Ministry of Finance and the entire economic management team of the country will continue to work in line with some of the austerity measures, the cuts they've been taking, Liberia will remain on path. We could start to experience some steady growth in the economy, and the projection, for Liberia remains high and in a positive note. Let me break it down for our people in the low area, right? The IMF is saying once Liberia continue to put money into the right areas, like President Weah is building roads, like schools have been built, like no minister taking 10,000, 20,000, like, United Party government and other places. Once we keep doing these things, once we are not buying cars for government officials every month or every 3 months, once we are practically putting our money into areas that will revive the country, Liberia will continue to witness some steady growth in the economy. That's what the IMF is saying in short. So economic activity is projected to expand by 3.6% in 2021, thereby restoring pre-pandemic levels with prospect of solid medium-term growth, provided that the program remains on track. So in as much as we have within the IMF program, all of our austerity measures in place, we've done the harmonization as a country. Government is spending unnecessary money. There were lawmakers under the early administration who used to make up to $3,000-$4,000 gasoline coupon. Today is no longer happening. I mean, we are told to reduce that gasoline to somewhere around 1,000 something. All right? Lawmakers are making up to $10,000-$15,000. Today at the House of Representatives, I can confirm that lawmakers make somewhere around $8,000 to $8,300, $400, $500 when you put all of that stuff together. When we remain on that path, if we stop, if we don't go back to the UP era where they were paying minister 20,000, 30,000, 15,000, if we don't go to that level and we remain on this identical austerity measure with the harmonization in place, with other sensible spending in place, we will continue to witness steady growth in the economy while we try to expand the country so as to accommodate a lot of other businesses that will create that environment where Liberia will start to have, a bigger budget. So they are advising that the way we do it is to stop spending recklessly. Once we continue to be spending wisely, we're spending our money on roads, we're spending it on proper housing unit, we're spending it on, paying YF fees, these meaningful contributions. Once we are intact with it, as a country, we'll keep benefiting from the IMF. So because we're able to exercise some form of financial discipline in managing our resources, IMF was able to give Liberia $23 million, $23.64 million. That's $23,640,000 United States dollars. So that's where we are. So there is a lot that can be achieved in as much as the people in any country will give the system a chance. That's what we kept shouting on top of our voices in this country. All of the time we saw opposition folks manipulating this country and turning Liberia into a war zone because they were against, I repeat, they were against this country. They were against our country from attracting the investment that Liberia would need for progress. They were against the system because, in their opinion, once the country was stable, once Liberia was not noisy, once the place was quiet, this kind of consultations, this kind of negotiations, this kind of intervention will be made. So to delay it, to stop it, they thought to create serious instability in the country. So they had the June 7, they had all of the different protests just to stop all of these kind of things. Today, now that we have peace, relative to the country is okay, people taking pay on time, the progress that we've long been wishing for, we're now witnessing it. So all that is required, and I keep saying this to people, whether it is George Weah in power, whether it is Alexander Cummings or Joe Barker, whoever becomes president of this country, Liberians should give that person a chance. The country will not make progress once people keep tormenting a particular regime. No. If you bring Joe Barker to power today, if citizens decide to do the same thing UP people did in 2019, to protest every week, even when there was no genuine reason to protest, Joe Biden will still encounter problem. The economy will still be bad. You will still have a situation where salary will not be paid. You bring an Alexander Cummings to power today, and citizens decide to join forces with other, political parties to form their own CPP or whatever the issue is, and keep destabilizing the country. That same ANC and the Cummings will dare not succeed because they are not going to be having the fiscal space to operate. In fact, the business climate is going to be tense. The business arena is not going to be okay. Everything is going to be crumbling. And in that kind of situation, there is not much of a financial reform you can do. So I'm saying we are witnessing $23 million coming to our country as support just for being on the IMF program or whatever it is, right? This is as a result of we as Liberians agreeing to live in harmony, even when we don't believe and respect one another. But the fact that we are living here without tension, without war, these are things we will get. This wouldn't have been possible if the country were protesting every day. And that's what we keep saying to you. When it is not your time to be in office, we agree that it is difficult. We agree that it hurts. We agree that it is tough for you to survive. We agree that, when you're making money before, you're not making it any longer. There are a lot of pains associated, but do not, I repeat, do not allow your personal pains and ego. Do not allow the money you used to make before under the UP government or whatever government to make you to want to undermine the progress of the country. Bulk of the people who are protesting in the country, your sack 12, your sack Mange, your sack Beltowe, your sack the other one, they were doing it not because these people sincerely or genuinely were involved into things that could warrant their dismissal, but they were doing it because they wanted to further escalate the tension. That was it. That was the intent. And in some instances, someone told me, we can talk all day. He's a good talker. He's an influential talker. He understands the financial area. He's also an intellectual. So in their mind, when you want to, undermine or cripple the king, you start with the king's advisors. You start with those who are influential around the king. You start with the king's cabinet. So perhaps those were some of the reasons. But as a country, we were able to agree in principle. Although not many people accepted the harmonization, but we agree as a country we needed to have done it so as to enable salary to be current, and that was the sacrifice a lot of Liberians made. Today, we are recording some form of steady growth. The only way we can move this country forward is when everybody put aside their ego. When everybody will realize that although we're no longer in power and there is a need, we support the system, even if we don't like we are, let's support Liberia. Let's stop tarnishing the image of our country until we can get that mindset. Whoever you bring to this country as president, once that mindset is not transformed, that person will encounter danger. They will encounter difficulties. Yeah, they will encounter difficulties. Bring all that thing you do with Joe Biden, you do it with Cummings, bring Cummings to that country. If Jawali coach then say, okay, you know what? We're giving our own says that we enjoy it. Y'all bring Cummings. If coach then decide to make the place unbearable, Cummings will not survive. His presidency will not yield any results. You bring Daniel Cassell, once a particular administration is not given chance to operate, they will be bound to fail except they have some political taking to take some tougher political actions. In the case of George Weah, there were no political decisions made. Other African leaders that too much protesting, they will start shooting people and killing them. At least today, there is no political prisoner. What was done was the fact that Samuel Tuah had to risk the survivability of the Liberian government. Hey, to reduce people's salary in Africa is difficult. It is extremely difficult to reduce people's salary in Africa. As difficult as that decision was, Tuah and the rest of the guys in the economic management team had to take that decision on the instructions of the president and advice from the other economic people. And today, at least they're no longer taking a huge salary, but to a greater extent, they are receiving the salary on time. That was a very risky but important austerity measure that was instituted by the administration, and it is paying off because today we now have a budget, you know, a proposed budget that we will be taking up to $785 million. We already have a facility now that can pay salaries on time. Our internal revenue generation, you know, I mean, internal revenue mobilization base is well functioned. I mean, it is functioning well. You know, it is active. The NRA is recording a lot of progress. They are expanding the tax base of our country. There were areas that were not paying taxes. Those places are being you know, spotted. They are also in the tax regime. So a lot of things going on, and these things wouldn't have been successful if this country was not peaceful. So when they say Freedom FM, that one of the best radio stations in the country, that's some of the sacrifices we made as an institution. Some of the bullets we stood against. Thankfully, as a country, we are yielding the results. Because when folks were saying, this is our government, see, we can be protesting in the country all day, we got to go to counter-protest. Freedom Radio was here to tell people, say, stay home. Stay home. Don't counter-protest. Don't go to counter-protest with them. Don't retaliate. Whether they insult President Weah, don't say anything. Whether you see them insulting all of the ministers in the government, don't throw stools when they are throwing stools. Don't confront them. We were on record, and we are still on record for that. Freedom Radio Liberia. Whenever there was tension, we will start to talk to the side. We'll try to talk to a lot of the people who believe in the administration at the time to tell them to calm down. That's what we did. And thankfully, they had June 7th. The protests went on. There were no confrontation. You never had two opposing forces clashing. That was vital for our country. That was essential for Liberia. That was one of the biggest achievement we've made as an institution, Freedom Radio. Go suck lime if you think I'm bragging. This is not about bragging. This is reality. We stood our grounds. On that day, we received information, say, oh, the other group, the grouping, or they said they won't go, move the board from Capitol Hill. We will be on the radio and say, no, stay home, be calm. The police is on top of it, and thankfully the police herself, the entire LMP, and all of the joint security forces, the guys were able to exhibit some high level of professionalism by distributing cohort of the people. So I'm saying, in short, that to succeed as a country, there is a need to have some form of stability. Not only from the economic standpoint, but peace as a matter. So you see what we are benefiting because we are peaceful. You see the kind of progress we are making because the guys are not protesting every day. So you see what you see why it is important to remain peaceful as a country. And that's why I keep saying, whether 2029, 2023, 2020, whatever, when CDC leaves power, if another regime is in authority, and I see citizens wanting to disturb that regime with too much protest action, I will talk. I will blast at them. Let me repeat. After George Weah time, whether that 12 years, whether that this one, after CDC administration, once the people of Liberia say retire with CDC, if that time is over and I see citizens disturbing the next government unnecessarily, I will talk. You know why? It's because what we do here is not about a particular political party. You see us support the government today. We support the government because we believe that every single government, irrespective of the kind of people who elected that government, should be given a chance to lead. Should be given a chance to perform what they have on their agenda. When their time is over, the people of Liberia will come and have a particular time to do the evaluation. But you took 2 years. Out of political desperation, you took 2 years to disturb George Weah. Yeah? Because you were desperate, you took 2 years to disturb George Weah. He couldn't pay salaries. Oh, how do you pay salary when you're not collecting taxes, you're not generating resources? Basically, people refusing to bring to open their other branches because every day they protest. Who want to invest in a country where every day tire is burning? Who want to invest in a country where opposition leader will sponsor a lawmaker to insult the president on a vehicle in the open on television? Who want to invest in such a country? Who want to invest in a country where opposition leaders were threatening to stone President Convo with rock. Now, when these informations are filtering out of the public, and the people outside of the country listening to it, even if the man had $1 billion or $20 billion to invest in Liberia, you think the man crazy to bring money to a country where one simple citizen can threaten the president? You think the man won't do it? You think the man want to bring your money to a country where people will set up roadblocks and burn tires in the heart of the capital city? You think the man want to bring investment? So for 2 years, they deprived Liberia of the needed investment climate. For business to go on, the first thing you need to do is you have a land. Land is a major capital in business development. When you have a land, the location of the land is also a different quality. It's also an added advantage to the kind of business you want to do. You want to open shop, you go buy land way inside Bapolu Forest, where you got maybe 10 person living in 2 villages. Come on, what kind of shop you opening? You just doing nonsense with yourself. Not many people will buy. So I'm saying to you, for business to go on, the environment must be suitable and conducive, and it should be void of any interference. How do you expect those people to have brought their money into the country when for 2 years people were causing trouble in the place, going to UN? You don't support we are ECOWAS, you don't support we are burning tire here, causing job here, causing the one else, causing the other one, so sponsoring protests the way, paying 180,000. You took 2 years to disturb his administration. Then you run to 2023, you want to ask him, what did he do when he says yes, when you took 2 years to disturb? Now, I'm saying to you, in the event when you come to power 2029 or 2030 or whatever time, why if the opposition in your time will choose to come and take 2 years of your administration to cause trouble? You will not do anything. And that's why I keep saying, George Weah was brave. George Weah was lucky. His administration was lucky that all through those years, he was able to do free tuition. He was able to build a lot of roads. New Redemption Hospital is ongoing. Purple housing units are being constructed. Hydro in River G, Hydro in low-fi projects. You know, those counties will witness hydro construction. The road from Maryland to Montserrat is on course. It's somewhere around River G. It should be hitting to Kawakin. There are too many things that this government was able to achieve under such an extreme, tense, difficult atmosphere. What about you? Why have you come to power and you are not popular with the people? George Weah is president today because both of the ordinary people in this country are his people. I swear to you, if CPP had control over the ordinary people and the vulnerable people in this country, we would have gone to war. Yes, June 7th protest was all about removing George Weah. If they had control over the ordinary people, they would have used that as an opportunity. And I'm saying to you, whether at 30 years or 50 years old, when you come to power and the opposition at that time decide to take 2 years of your time to cause trouble, to scare away investors, kill people and bring a body on the road and say that your government killed it. Yeah? Fake all type of assets and kill people and put in assets and do all type of things just to implicate your government. If opposition at that time do it to your government, you think you're going to do anything? You can have the best master plan for Liberia. Once the opposition committee at that time will choose not to give you the chance, your plan can be fine as the architectural design of New York, you will not achieve it. Your plan can be fine, decent as the blueprint that led to the construction of Dubai. You will not achieve it because you will not have the favorable society, the favorable environment. We run an import-based economy. The economy is such a way that we benefit, we raise revenue from businesses that always import their goods to country. Both of our investors are foreigners. They bring their money here, invest it here, we collect their taxes, then we pay ourselves, we build our roads, we do governmental projects, we save some in our reserves. When you cause a situation where the country is going to be disrupted from time to time, when you create an environment where the country is going to be thoroughly and totally, in disarray, what do you expect the government to do? The government will be tight-lipped, tight-handed. There is nothing the government will do a lot. Not more the government will do. So I'm saying to you, the best way we can move this country forward, when your time is over, just concede that defeat. If you must criticize, if you should critique the government, let your criticism be the way and form and manner in which Boimon Kamara did his. Boimon Kamara did not say because I was the last UP finance minister, so I will cause swear. I will discredit what he has proposed. In fact, Boimon conceded that this is something I have long been wanting to do. Thankfully, it was done under Samatoe with the approval and tutelage of George Weah. That is what an opposition leader should be. An opposition leader should be able to tell Ruth Coker Collins that the road to Douala needs attention and there's a need to do it without cussing, without doing a lot of stuff. You got to be objective. Nobody says you should pressing the government. Nobody says you should leg the government up. But there are ways you will constructively engage the government, and your opposition, status will still be seen and known. So I'm not gonna keep stressing on that. Yeah, we're gonna leave it. Yeah, we're gonna leave it right there. But just so I end, I just told you, right? The way you have to step George Weah for 2 years, the man got 6 years to lead the country. Before 2 years, you even getting chance. I will play Muna Farah voice the last time. They almost said after 2 months we have become president. They started planning how to destabilize the country. Why every kind of power? Seriously, man, we're higher. That's why I know. If I were to jump political party, the way I look at something that I mean, if I were to jump political party, I mean, I want to join CDC, not because I don't love the party, but radical posture, I mean, I want to do it. But what CDC mean high? Huh? If you come to power, maybe 30 years from now, if CDC members decide to say, let's ensure that the people have an unbearable movement. You think you make progress? You're not make progress because you're not kidding. You're able. You're not kidding. You think what George Weah ain't kill most? I mean, George Weah government kill most of the protesters June 7. You can't kill him. So the way you understand, we have a 2 year. Why is citizen say, you know what I mean? George Weah 2 year key pass. Send them in the power. Let the start them in everything. Why they choose to do it? What will you do? You can kill all of them. So don't do what you know when people do to you will hurt you. If you want to be the change, you should start to be objective in your criticism and be like Boimon Kamara. That's who a real patriot is. What he demonstrated is the highest level of patriotism beyond party, beyond regime connection, beyond political ideology. What he demonstrated was clear. It's a clear manifestation of an individual who is not individualistic, an individual who is concerned about moving the country forward, irrespective of who's in charge. One would have said, "Oh, that seriously, man, they are in app." So even the fact that they do good things, I'm not going to say it because when I say it will be short one for me. He would have chosen to do that, but he didn't do it because he believes that the decision they made was in the interest of the Liberian people. I'm going to leave it here. For the next 10 minutes, we'll talk about what Mirabro is planning to do. Then we open up the lines for 30 minutes. We allow you to call. So, Jefferson Koji, the mayor of Monrovia, appointed Madam Mirabro and some other stakeholders to be a part of a committee that should ensure that Monrovia is given a facelift ahead of our bicentennial events expected to be held early next year. So Mirabro already started doing a Mirabro thing, and yeah, they're playing Mirror Break It. She's Mirabro, but when she's in Mirabro mood, they call her Mirror Break It. So Mirabro has threatened. Yes, she has threatened to shut down all the horses in the country when I get toilet. And this is where I'll come back to where Dr. Laurie Comlan Bropley will always say, there is a need that we change our minds and change our attitude in this country. This issue of us in Liberia where we do things the opposite way. Like Chancellor said, there is a white man, black man, and a Liberian man. We need to change that. Remember I said that she will close hostel when I get toilet. Now my issue is, why will somebody buy a piece of land? You getting me? Why would somebody buy a piece of land, buy building materials, construct a house, and forget to put bathroom? Come on, who does that? What is that? Oh, but I Liberia now, right? No. You build a house, you put kitchen, you get place to cook. Oh, you not put bathroom there? When you eat the food, you will transfer it to somebody else's stomach, the person who got bathroom. Whenever you take in, there is a moment for excretion. Why would you do that? Now there is mass reaction in the public. Oh, how many people break our house? Well, we will not get toilet. Why should you build a house in the first place without building a toilet? That's nonsense to the letter. This is one of the main reasons why pollution is the order of the day in this country. The EU, man, Liberia say Maria dirty. All right, start putting more on Jefferson Koji. When people have homes in this country without toilet facilities, and they defecate in plastics, throw their waste in the streets. Hey man, when you made Joe Biden, Selemia or Maria, come on. Why did they set up constant finish sweeping? Then man, just from using you maintain a plastic and put in your room and sit on there, they feel wrapping chunk, I think you call it a grenade. They chunk racket, they lay on the quota. The sun shine on it, it got dry, the place is polluted. And you say the city council not doing anything. Maryborough has threatened to shut down homes. The unfortunate thing about it is that for a very long time, people in this country have been running their houses like that. Why will you build a house without toilet? There are people in the country who can take by 5 o'clock in the morning. You know why? It's because there is no bathroom for them to take back. So they will have to wait. By the time it's 5 o'clock in the morning or 4:30 in the morning, they will squeeze themselves between two houses. Some kind of corner, they hang some kind of lapper there, or sometimes no lapper, they take back quickly, they go to work. When they return from work, it is in the night, then they take back also. That is totally not good. It is not good hygiene practice. So when they want to eat themselves, they do everything right in that corner, they wrap it up, they chunk it. When rain start falling, all the rainwater will collect it, put it in the drainage, it clog the drainage, the whole place is polluted, the whole place smell in the country is dirty. You open your mouth, you say, I ain't clean the place. People will walk 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 different long distances. You will take the dirt from over 15 feet. Then you run on the road, you waste it on the main Kota road. But you say they got state government that's able to clean it. What kind of people are we? Who are we? You bring the white boy here to be cleaning the city. Once the people keep cleaning the city and somebody get taking debt, palmed out, all the kind of nonsense from the nonsense about it, you got your horse. There's got some waste land around your horse. We're not encouraging community, how you call it, waste disposition. No, that's not what we're discouraging, right? But you got butchers, you got banana butchers, and when you got different waste land around your place, which we're not encouraging you to do. But you choose not to even put it around your house. You bring it way on the Kota road, you dump it there. You see the place clean, but you can't dump the fat bucket. So by the time you dump the fat bucket of dirt, the other person who watching you get on the dirt under the bed, they bring the second bucket. In 3 hours time, the whole place is crowded. Then you take photos. Then you bring your nonsense films, you go on the road, then you flash it. Maria said it dirty. What kind of people are we? What kind of people are we? Who do we see ourselves to be as Liberians? I'm talking to you in a taxi. You ate the corn, you drank the cold water, you drank the soft drink, you ate the donut, the plastic, and the paper, everything in your hand. You got your napkins, you got that biscuit pack. You finish eating the biscuit, you in the taxi, but you will take your hand, rub it outside the window, easy. Then you drop it. Instead of finding trash can in the car, you drop the nonsense outside. When you drop your that one plastic, so you're not seeing it, it'll be plenty. You don't see to me? You drop one plastic. Maybe you suck sour milk away, that one plastic, you drop it, you think it's plenty. The other man can eat a plenty, you drop a plastic, a plenty plastic, can stick rest out your plenty plastic. The other man who ate a biscuit, the biscuit pack, it will kind of jump onto you, Kuwe, and plenty plastic. The man who can't eat banana, he drop it, everything jump. So when 10, 15 prices and the numbers start to go up to 20,000 human beings, pass with that simple drop it before you go when you go take the picture of the play dirty. Then you started it with the first plastic, you go on Facebook, you take your picture, you post it. Maria is dirty. When your nurse call with the first person who dirty to say it. We will need to do our part as Liberians. I don't know how Maribel will achieve that. I don't know how she will shut homes down. I see plenty of problems. I see people causing confusion. I see riot. I see protests. But this is wrong. What were they even thinking? If you got your landlord, go to your landlord now and lower your fee and say, why you are thinking you better with utterly? When you ask any question, say, I can't get say, I'm going to ask you, what kind of nonsense you are on? You build her with utterly. No toilet facility in the homes. You just squeeze off the place. You jam the place. Nowhere you build the whole house. Some of the houses got 9 rooms, 10 rooms, no toilet. Why would you do that? I don't know how Maribel is going to achieve it. I don't know how Maribel will achieve that to shut people's homes down for not having toilet facility. But what I think should be done is for a vigorous inspection to be carried out. The Liberian Wash Commission should be involved. The Environmental Protection Agency should be involved. The city government of Monrovia and Painesville should be involved. The Ministry of Justice should be involved. I mean, the entire team that was set up should be involved. Now, what should be done from my perspective as a way of recommending is for the team to go in a field, look at some of the neighborhoods. There are some houses, there are 11 rooms, no bathroom, 4 rooms, 3 rooms, no bathroom, right? But the house owner still got land. He still got a piece of land that you can even put a 4x4 bathroom or a 4x5 bathroom. Now, are you getting me? I'm saying to you, there are some houses in this town where the people really building the house, no bathroom there, but they still have some land space where bathroom can be built. In this kind of instance where you go to the person, they got land space where they can build bathroom, it should be mandatory on the part of that landowner and the house owner to automatically find a means to construct a bathroom and put the different facilities in it. Both the washroom and whether it is commode or whatever toilet facility, what should be done is it should be hygienically okay, sanitation wise, it should be good. That's what we should be doing. Hey, that's exactly what we should be doing. In my mind, that's the first step. Community people, take charge. You can start it from the community level. Community leadership, whether it is the youth leadership, it is the elder council leadership, it is the women wing leadership. You can set up a task force to do the inspection of every home in the particular community, because it will not be decent. You got your fresh commode, your good toilet facility in your area, and the rest of the other people do not have, toilet. But when you find, feces in the plastic and people cussing in the yard, then it vex. When you get toilet to your house, the other people got a bathroom to their house, the other people got it to their house, you will not be finding the plastic and all around. You'll not be finding it. Now, indirectly, you are promoting a clean environment. I don't know how Maribel will do it. perhaps we'll have to go back to the drawing board to rethink our decisions. But as a way of getting started, there are some houses that they build with rooms in it, no bathroom, and those houses still got small land space. You can do it by 4 by 4, 4 by 4, or 4 by 5. 4 feet by 5 feet, area space. You can put a bathroom there. Even when we order the 8 rooms, we use that bathroom, let them use it. Then for them not to have bathroom at all and keep scattering plastic all over the country. We have to change our minds and change our attitudes, like Lauren Brooklyn would say. And I hope people are not building houses these days without toilet. I just hope it is not the case. That has been in the system almost 30, 40 years now. People got big houses around here in the place. No, come on, you crazy? Something happening to you? You build house, no toilet? You get a landlord go asking my man, why? You mind rent business until you land out of the room, no toilet. But you get kitchen there, you get place to cook, but you not get place to go use the bathroom. Does that make sense to you? As a result of that, when the place is smelling, the place is polluted, the place is damaged, everybody say the place smelling, the place polluted, the place not correct. Like dirty, more dirty, but you get bathroom to your house. No, you don't have bathroom to your house, but you'll be the first to say Maria dirty. Oh, I spend here, most of the men in town, Maria, most of the men in town, Nana, most of the men who listen to Nana, some of them take about soon the morning around 5 o'clock. The reason why they take about 5 o'clock is because that time it can be dark small. If some men not take about 5 o'clock, if some men take about 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and they allow the time to reach maybe 6:30 or 7 o'clock, they can take about again. They just count to time like that. They can just web good, the spray. Count to time. Like why when the sun hot now, the spray sand, the sweat sand can miss, then you got issue. Right? I know most of you listening to the radio right now, you talk about the money. 5 o'clock outside, because no bathroom to the place. Y'all renting from the place, no bathroom. That the kind of house that maybe won't close down. So as a landlord, my man, that you build a house, 50 room, 10 room, the other room, show me where your land stop. Measure the area 4 by 4. If you can get 4 by 4 space anywhere on that land, hey, tell the man, hey, build one bathroom there for y'all. Or else, Maryborough will be forced to close those rooms. This should not be government thing. Let everybody take charge. Let's start a conversation from our homes. All of you who renting should start it. If I'm renting, I go to my landlord and tell him, man, I'm here. How you call it? We ain't got toilet. We were renting here. We ain't got toilet. We ain't got bathroom. Show all your land. You get space. Please take it from our rent. Build our bathroom. Start it from that way. If you and your pa living in the same house, the man who get a house, your house is not rental house, that your own personal house, but the man build a house, we refuse to put bathroom, you tell him, Papa, it's not good, we get our own house, we not get bathroom. Tell him to correct that. That's the way we clean the city. So I don't know how Mary is going to do it. I don't know how Oman Town, bro, is going to do her thing. But in my mind, it is a very tedious thing she's about to do. And it will only take it will only have to include the involvement of the community and all of those who are involved to make this thing a success. I'm not going to say much. I'm not going to say too much. It's time now for us to open up the lines. 2 different issues: the finance ministry issue, the financial space of our country, the IMF report on Liberia, and the latter discussion which has to do with Maryborough's decision, to close down houses with all toilet facilities. If you're there, I'm here. My name is Khan, Oliver Khan. Alexa is out of the country. You can join us now on 086 500 104, 086 500 104, 0776 104 104 to be a part of the conversation. If you're outside Liberia, join us on +231 886 500 104. +231 886 500 104 are the numbers to join the conversation. Let's take this person. Hello.
Good evening, Khan. Oliver Khan.
1 minute, sir. Let's hear you, Chief.
Yeah, Khan, this is David King. I'm the executive of the National Response and Defense Team. I join you from my residence evening.
Go ahead, David, quickly.
Yes, I listened to some Tamara on Stone Source the other evening. You know, it was Timothy George who wanted to make it look like Grandma Kamara was trying to sample the government. But and the CEO said, you know, you have to leave him alone. Let him expand on the issue, because it is not about somebody putting the government, putting 10% on the government, but you must be able to admit to some of the economic shortfall that the government has in the past and what this government is improving on. I think we need the information. And Mr. Kamara was straight to the point. And he said Mr. Square and team have really want to do well for the country, economy, because what he wanted to do, he didn't do it for Mr. Stanford and Mr. Square. Having a fast-started man, he has come to do those things that he did not do, or other ministers did not do before him. They are not doing it. And the one thing he congratulated the government for cutting down for foreign travel and not having many foreign travel in his government. I think they are giving boost to our government. So I want to say to the brothers of the opposition, they all should emulate a good example of Minister Kamara, so that this country can move forward. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you very much. We'll leave you right there. Let's take this other person. Go ahead. Your name and where do you join us from?
I want to say good evening to all of those following you live. My name is Abayemi Kapla Santi Jr. I'm an executive member of the Intellectual Alliance of Liberia.
Go ahead, Santi, quickly.
Well, I want to firstly appreciate you for all of the talking points, and I think it helped to shape our progress as a country. But overall, you do not need to do economics in school before you understand the very important economics of our country. I think you said it right, Oliver. You know, Liberia that was projected with a huge economic meltdown. This government took in a started measure. It took in started measure to ensure that we are at the stage we are today. Otherwise, you think it's an easy thing when you earn, for example, $500 Liberian money, and then someone say, "But man, you're not earning money because you're a all the time making the same money. You make $250." It's a critical task, so it's a condition. But for the fact that this government is out of the into the IMF program, that entire economic policy can be monitored and supervised by international actors, they have to take those strong measures to ensure that the blood to can get on path without what is the issue of COVID-19 on military protest across the country. But today, Liberia has been recognized by international partners to say, oh yes, the economy is going well, that's why the people got to face. Like you emphasize the issue of peace. Peace creates a lot of progress in the country. So today, you see Liberia has been recognized to partake in the first ever summit that President Joe Biden in the Peace and Democracy Summit. That is losing this part that Liberia is a safe place. So I just want to say thanks to the economic management team and the Minister of Finance and all those at the ministry that are doing a good work to ensure that today Liberia can be recognized internationally. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. I'll leave you and take this other person. Go ahead, quickly. Let's hear you.
Hello, okay.
Go ahead, man. Let's hear you.
Okay, this is Marcy on the line. People defender.
Go ahead.
Okay, let me say thank you for the topic and discussion this evening, sir. You are said it. But that man I was talking, it's a true picture. You know, you look at the government, people can understand and they can reach it. That means a true picture to explain to the people what happened in the past and today. You can read the government president. It's a true picture. What you are saying, not where you got testing. President, we are got testing. Came out nurse in the market. They make me a job like that on our shoulder. Not for nothing. They make God assessing it. God gave you brain. And today, you apply that brain today, our country now, you have a lot of money, a lot of resources. And all for criticizing, they can't see what happened in this and that. So let me say something where kudos to him, and kudos to our president, continue Yahweh. No point without money, not in the market. No opposition was there before. They never did it. Who are you talking today? If I'm going to be telling me, I'm going to put in my back and talking around the time. God bless you. They continue to keep a mirror, bro. So out there also when I get bathroom. That's true. Who making a position of this thing? But what a place to $40, the country is better. So maybe I come to the area and now please go up and down. Okay, so I want to learn. We're going to make a foreign president something overboard. It's very wrong. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We leave you right there. Yes, we leave you to take this other person on the line. Your name and where you join us from quickly.
Hello, sir.
Let's hear you, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for highlighting the issues and thank you to the Finance Minister for his good work.
Okay.
I want to say the government, thank you so much. We are waiting your name again the second time. Thank you.
Okay, we leave you right there. Let's take this other person. Go ahead. Your name and where you join us from. 1 minute.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, kind, and I appreciate you for the conversation.
Okay.
My name is Christian Yankee, and I joined the conversation from the Office of the Intellectual Alliance of Liberia along the Japan Freeway.
Where exactly on the Japanese Freeway do you have your office?
Our office is between the Toho Community Junction and all of the Watusi Junction. Okay. Between there, if you come there, you see our office.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
But the thing is, we want to appreciate the economic management team of our country, the Ministry of Finance, the folks, the Minister Tue and his able lieutenant at the Ministry of Finance. Minister Tue will always say this, that I have listened to time without number, that we are cooking an economic food, and the food is still on the fire. We will have to wait for the food to done, and we all eat it and enjoy it. But it is not because we want to rush the food, so we'll leave the food hot and take it all and give it to you. No. So meaning our people will enjoy the actual dividend from this government. They should go across as a message to our people that these are some of the reasons why members of the opposition were consistently protesting to ensure that if you keep the place stable, if the place remains quiet, the government will definitely succeed. So because since they don't want the government to succeed, so protestation was the order of the day. See the report from the IMF, look at the former finance minister of our country under the Manasari regime. What he's saying today, appreciating the government that there are things they wanted to meet up with as minister of the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Finance under the Manasari the Arigo regime, but they did not meet up with these things. And this government. Yeah, this government have prioritized executing some of these things. For example, talking about travel. You gotta conclude. That clearly signal to our people that under the Banamseli regime, like Joseph Yuma Baka said, that they wasted the opportunity of our people. Thank you. They wasted the opportunity of our people. Let's leave you and take the other person. 1 minute.
Good evening. And good evening to the people of Montevideo County.
Go ahead, sir.
And good evening to the people of Grand Bassa County. Therefore, the Peter McCauley, the civilized Bassa Boko for District Number 9, Montevideo County, member of the National Response and Defense Operation. We are.
Go ahead.
I want to say thank you so much for God to give us a man who knows the intoto and output of the Ministry of Finance from the G2 Junior. So, come for 2019. When our US rate went to 200, but setting that within a 2019, Minister 12 went and make our rate to be stabilized. 170 the rate order from 2019 to 2021. And today, our rate is also coming down gradually. The Liberians are not really crying because we're respecting our own liberty. So I want to say thank you to the Ministry of Finance and the able lieutenants who all brought them back at the idea today, and we see our country, we are seeing the success of our country. But let me say this, President, it remains the developmental barometer, the 352 of the country.
Thank you. We'll leave you and take the other president. Hello, 1 minute. We're great. Quickly, let's hear you.
Yeah. Hello. I'd actually know that thing that one of the main never gonna go when they want to that I really see one of the over. I just want to get that thing for us. So let's go to the hospital and I saw it. The better thing of the government we're trying to press. It's thank God for us open we are. I want to keep it stable. I want to start the give me a number of and I want to
okay, I mean, just ask the Paris Street area, you'll get my number. But if not, I will try to search the system and send it to you. Thank you very much. Let's leave you and take this other person. Hello, go ahead.
Good morning, Oliver. Anyway, I'm in Australia. Anyway, sorry for that.
Okay, so yeah, from Australia, let's hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, Oliver, I just want to say bravo to people like you who continue to preach the good message of this government. Even not because of you people today, but that's what we're going to be all in our country. But you sacrifice your time sleepless night to make sure that our people listening to the good message in the country that are doing in that country. I want to say bravo to you.
Thank you.
I just want to let you know that President Weah is a smart man. Thank you to the Liberian people for continuing to follow you every day to understand that look, protest is not the way forward. Peace is the way forward. And with peace, our nation will move forward. Thank you so much. And thanks to our Honorable Minister, Minister Dwell, for reaching the goal, man. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much from Australia. We come back to Liberia. Hello, let's hear you.
Good evening, KOK. Good evening, all people of Nigerians who are in tuning at this time.
Go ahead, my brother.
Uptown KW Studio, this is concept.
Let's hear you.
The former minister of MFDP, Honorable Breman Kamara, is indeed an epitome of patriotism. He displayed a true sense of patriotism the other night while on Spoon TV, and he had his host or the widows.
Oh yeah, they were in disarray.
They were confused as to how come we thought this man was going to say something that will speak to our minds, that will speak in our favor, but rather he gave a fair appraisal of what this government is doing under the stewardship of our illustrious president, Dr. George Manuel Weah, and the Minister of Finance, Honorable Samuel G. Toure Jr. And if any one of them would have thought that this guy, being a contemporary or an academic contemporary of the Minister of MFDP, to say something out of the way or contrary to what is actually obtaining, they miss the point because they are how you call it, intellectually or level. They have good understanding of the Liberian economy and they know exactly how to go about it. And if one person sees his friend doing something that, even though he had a chance but couldn't do, it is fair for him to get a fair appraisal of that person because one day he might come back and somebody you will not want to be a George Romley when you know he's doing the right thing. So I think Honorable Kamara did the best thing in the interest of Liberians and to set to change the mindset that it is not you, it shouldn't be at
Thank you.
Good sense. Everything about the other person is bad. Thank you for the time.
Thank you very much. We'll leave you right there. Let's take this other person. Hello, go ahead.
Yes. Okay.
Let's hear you, my brother.
Well, how are you?
We're great.
Okay, this is Anthony Alo Alexander Villasoli, Chairman of Monserrato Congress and that of the Coalition for Democratic Change.
Let's hear you. Go ahead.
Let me first of all appreciate former Minister Kamara for his observation and for his patriotic comment. You know, we have to demonstrate love and commitment for this country, irrespective of where we sit.
Okay.
I mean, it beats my imagination to realize that indeed we can find patriotic people even from the recent past government. I think that demonstrates sincerity and love for country.
Okay.
But the fact that he can admit the fact that even his government, his administration struggle to achieve what we have achieved today as a government. Unlike other people who still don't want to see it because of hate and envy and because they are not the ones sitting in the seat. I think these things, his comment is in the right direction. And we want to say thank you to him. And we also want the former minister and this government to take advantage of this kind of pat on the back to do more. Because they should understand that even when they think that people who don't love them, there are people who stay within the midst of those who don't love them, that still love them, and when they see the truth, they will speak to the truth. I'm very much proud of the performance of the former minister, and I think it needs to continue the path is on. I want to appreciate this government for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll leave you right there. Let's take this other person. Good evening. Where do you join us from? Hello.
Good evening, Oliver Khan. This is my calling from St. Paul's Bridge.
From St. Paul's Bridge. Let's hear you, ma'am.
Nothing much that is say my son, but to say my partner's minister, thank you for everything he's doing here. And thank you for my president. Let God bless him. That man, so we have seen that man before, we have put that man there. because you know what you can do. Let God bless every one of them. And you're in the studio there. And the men I talk today, let God bless you. Bye.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll leave you right there. We will leave you and squeeze in more other calls here on 87.9. If you're in the diaspora, it is time now for us to make room for the diaspora audience. Join us on +231 86 500 104 +231 86 500 104. It is time for those of you in the diaspora. If this person is not calling from the diaspora, I'm not going to take you. Trust me, I'm not going to take you if you're not from the diaspora. Let's take this person. Hello.
Yeah. How you doing, Khan Oliver Khan?
We're great. Where are you joining us from?
Yes, Khan Oliver Khan. I'm calling you from Nicosia, Cyprus.
Cyprus, Nicosia.
Thank you very much for the show. I'm following you live.
Okay.
These are information we want to hear about Liberia. But unlike some of our guys will take the negative and not knowing that whatsoever negative thing you're sending out there, it will scare investors of coming to our country. And we, the common people, our parents will suffer because President Weah will not suffer any other negative thing we are saying. But we, the common people, will suffer. So I think you guys are doing well. Let the information be preached at this. People who sending negative messages out there so that it can be diluted for more investors and other good people to come to our country and change that bureau. We say, President Weah, you get my support. Thank you for your work. Don't listen to them. Make sure you do your work. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much from Apoel Nicosia in Cyprus. We go over and take this other person who's on the line. For those of you in the international cycle, the lines are open up for you. Call us on +231 86 500 104 +231 86 500 104. Let's take this local caller. Your name and where do you join us from? Quickly.
Yeah, good evening, Oliver. This is Peter Lane. I'm calling for Congo Town.
Go ahead, Peter Lane.
Yeah, let me say welcome back to the show. You know, you were somehow.
I was here yesterday.
Okay, no problem. Anyways, let me applaud you for the discussion this evening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you were talking about a former finance minister, actually, you know, Liberia, it's just like people do politics differently, right? We all are Liberians.
Mm-hmm.
Whatsoever the president is doing right now is not for his own benefit, but it's for us as Liberians. So any patriotic citizen who sees the good work of the president, you have to say it out. You know, you don't just know how to criticize everything before you can be called opposition. I don't think this is the main reason why opposition are in the country, just to criticize. No. So the former finance minister, I think he was right when he made those points clear that the government is doing well in some places. So it's a good thing. We should commend him for that. And the issue of Maryborough, we don't know how this is going to work. But the issue of bathroom in communities is a serious problem. Seriously, even within the community that I live in, sometimes some people that are separate have open, but they can't really fix it. You see the water is coming outside and going another person's yard. So I think Maryborough, what she is saying is a good thing. It's a good initiative, but we're just looking at how it's going to work. Even if she doesn't lock doors, she can be able to help to work along with the community, the residents within the community, so that they can help to resolve those things. Because this is the thing that causes sicknesses and diseases in the rural community.
Okay, thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We leave you and take this other person. Hello, go ahead. Let's hear you quickly.
Hello, okay.
Let's hear you, ma'am.
Yes, Orita to calling from Chikisu Patrick, friend of personnel. We are a member of the response team.
Go ahead, Orita.
Okay, you owe us. Because of the team, I know you are tired there, so you not come. And we then missing you. You know, okay, I want to tell you thank you for your explanation.
Mm-hmm.
You see the opposition, they not need business. Really, they not need business. And when they not appreciate President Weah, we appreciate President Weah. I want to say thank you to Samuel Twe. You know, during the early administration, those people, they were having budget shuffle. But because during President Weah time, there is no budget shuffle, but there is budget surplus. So it's hurting the people, they're not even getting over it. So I want to say kudos to Samuel Twe. Let the people go sit down. After 12 years, when they come, they will look at it. But anything they talk, that just fake thing they can be talking. Nobody are fake.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll leave you right there and take a couple of calls, especially from the international line. Let's take this person on the line. Your name and where do you join us from quickly?
Yeah, my name is Nathaniel Warwick, calling from Minnesota.
Nathaniel from Minnesota. Go ahead, Nat. Let's hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the deliberation this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Something pertaining to the city mayor, Madam Boer. What you talking about is pertaining to the houses without bathroom.
Oh yeah.
It's a good idea. But I want for the motto to all every business in Monrovia to have bathroom.
Okay.
Especially in America here, what they do, they have both women and men bathroom. But when I went to Liberia, I only saw one bathroom where only they have one bathroom where the men and the women can go in. And it was too embarrassing. So I went on Gather Street that day, I didn't use the bathroom.
Okay.
So you should please tell them to add on that. Let every businesses have their own bathroom for people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's well enough. Let's take the last batch of calls here on 87.9. This person, hello.
Okay.
Let's hear you, sir. Go ahead. Nafende, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm a traditional man, so I almost see my daughter. Thank you very much. And Mr. Kamayo, anytime whom will always preach good quality of his home. You see? So we tell Kamara thank you, Mr. President thank you. And so I want to base on this knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Try to discuss it, please. Our flag, if you're hosting our flag, no attention calling. Well, our place so you also. This time people hosting a flag, pure walking, they don't care.
Okay.
So I thank you. I want to bring that to your remembrance. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We leave you right there. Let's take this other international caller. Your name and where do you join us from, sir? Go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Luke from the Queen City, Charlotte. How you doing?
I'm great from Charlotte. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Oh, God, thank you for your program. I always watch you from the Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina. I want to appreciate Jay Brahma for his deliberation and for him being so fair. Let him keep it up. It's not because you're not part of the government, you got to be so critical.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to urge on that issue. We all should put him behind the government. And everybody want to see the goodness of the government because there's nowhere we got besides Liberia.
Okay. All right. Thank you from all the way in the United States, from Charlotte. Let's take what's the time? Yeah, we're gonna take the last 3 calls. This person, hello, go ahead. Hello. Go ahead. Let's hear you. Hello. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Okay. Thank you, God. This is Washington Soup. I call from this bill, member of the Respond and Defend team.
Go ahead.
Let me first appreciate the founder ministry and honor the leadership of our Minister Swear. And also, you see, people are responsible based on what they put out, how they present themselves to the public. When it comes with deception, you guys people can always look at it to be irresponsible. The former founder minister clearly indicates our level of responsibility and patriotism into this country compared to the current major political leader, opposition political leader we have in this country. They will see positive things happening, but they won't come to the public to say the truth because they want power. So let me appreciate the former founder minister for being so sincere and patriotic, and go on to the opposition political leader, Baka and Kumi, and all who always going always lies, seeing positive things happening, but they don't want to say.
Thank you very much. Let's leave you and rush on the time and squeeze in this other international caller. Your name, where do you join us from, sir?
Yeah, I'm Sonny Oyemons here, calling you from New York City.
New York City, go ahead, my brother. Let's hear you.
Yeah, pertaining to what Mary bro said, at least I know that we are supposed to be having a separate bathroom and toilet in each houses. But for Liberia, man, I think it's impossible.
It's impossible for us to have
Yeah, I think.
for us to have bathrooms in each of the homes. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's possible for some people in some way, like, but for others, it's impossible. Seriously.
So what's the solution then? What do we do?
The solution from my end is like a public bathroom or toilet will be a little bit okay.
So for the rest of the time this country is going to be in existence, we're just going to be making way with the public bathroom. Is that what you're projecting?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. You made your point. Let's leave you right there. Yes, let's leave you. And yes, I think we're going to take our very last caller. Then we call your day. Your name and where do you join us from? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, okay. My name is William McCoy, calling from VOA Bengal.
VOA, go ahead, sir.
I want to commend you for all what you are saying. You are telling us today. And you know, these guys are very, very deaf and jealous. And they will, and I mean, I can say that they go and wait for them as an office transformer. Because this president is the only president that has seen that carried a whole district free education, government free in Nimba County. And this president, when you go there, you will see from Saclay to Ganta, the road is in progress right now speaking. This president is a born hateful president that deserves to be a president for 12 years. In fact, I will carry him to 24 years in Liberia. Because he's doing well for the Liberians, what we need him giving it to us. So I commend the president. I finished that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll leave you right there. And so, folks, we're going to be going home today. Yes, today is Thursday. We're going to be going home to return on the weekend's edition of the show. We're going to be here on tomorrow. God's will, I'm going to be here. Alexa is out of country. And of course, that's the beauty of what we do here. There are times you search for the news in Liberia. If you don't find it, you go for the news outside of Liberia. My name is Kai. I believe in what I do. I believe there is God. I believe there is humanity. And I believe there are people we should be around. And of course, I believe there should be no reason why we should fight. You are a pastor. There is another pastor better than you in preaching because your strength is in praying. The one whose strength is in praying, cannot preach the way you do. You are a footballer. This guy is good at butting the ball in the pole while you are good at dribbling players. Your different abilities is in no way disability to anyone. The skies are, the skies are up. The stars are available. Everyone has their own personal gift in life. Be who you are. Never, I repeat, never copy anybody. Never fight to be in the shoes of anyone. You may not know what that person did, who they had to do anything to become who they are. Keep loving yourselves, keep loving God, and keep loving your friends. Until we return on tomorrow, my name is Kind. This song is from my man, Ferry Mary. Ferry Mary is a musician from Côte d'Ivoire, and as a matter of fact, he's a friend to President George Weah.
Nobody plays more music. Absolutely nobody. From Central Monrovia to Rose Stereo. This is Freedom FM. Mix by Mix.